Now it is time for our Black Donnelly Media Jive Talkin with Anthony feature presentation. In 2026, it seems as though every industry is being touched by artificial intelligence, replacing humans in the labor market and across the workforce. But what about the human emotional experience, an art form that requires years of commitment, skill, talent and raw emotion that has been electrifying our human frequencies for over 165,000 years? We are zooming in the lens to see where it came from, where it is at, and where it may possibly be going. Is the music over, or does the band play on? Let us get into it. Jive Talkin with Anthony.
And welcome to the show. Please subscribe to the community. It's pretty simple. All you can do is just sign up on the links below. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, just give us a like. It's a simple ask for this free production. I do it all by myself. It's a labor of love, mind you. But my real love, and probably yours as well if you're tuned in right now catching the podcast, is the medium itself, music. And it's safe to say in the entire craft and its meaning are more and more on the line today. It's music. It's the universal language spoken and understood by all. Everybody on the planet, right? It's that one tangible molecule that taps straight into the human hard drive, firing off all of our dopamine, transporting us through time, and activating memories we thought were buried way deep in the Himalayas. It's what makes you cry, makes you laugh, makes you dance, makes you want to fight. For the first time in 165,000 years, music could be on the brink of extinction in its purest form. The genuine musician is under fire today, caught in the crosshairs of the artificial intelligence rifle. Now, this weapon is yielded by a wave of unskilled plagiarists who pretty much lack the ability to write, play, or make music. And their sole ambition is to achieve fame through music by promoting this new medium, which they use to generate music. Simultaneously, they're willing to pull the trigger on real musicians simply to feed their own egos. The contribution of this type of artists to their so-called projects requires the same level of skills or maybe ordering a pizza via text. When the pizza arrives, they tell everybody, the guests, that they made the pizza. But to understand this phenomenon, we can look back at, let's say, the classic jukebox in the 1940s and 50s, right? For those unfamiliar of the concept, they were big, beautiful lit boxes housing hundreds of different records and genres and types of music. You inserted a coin, money, typed in your desired genre or your artist, and wham, the machine used a record to play the music for you. That was the medium. Fast forward to 2026, the fundamental concepts remains the exact same. You pay, you press what you want to hear, and the machine plays your request. However, there's two key differences right now. Firstly, the 2026 jukebox is far more technologically advanced. The second difference relates to the culture of the day. The people who pressed the buttons on the original jukebox never turned around and told everybody that they created the actual music coming out of the machine, right? More or less, this brings us to a critical question. How did we get here? What's to become of music? And what's to become of the musician? The vanishing artist, technological displacement, and the erosion of musicianship is a heavy-duty topic. I feel the music industry is at a dangerous precipice right now, staring into the murky waters of an ontological crisis, right? Now, for the first time in human history, we're challenging the definition of music, which has always been about human experience, physical labor, and manual dexterity. Now, we're replacing it with generative software designed to pull the musician right out of the equation. Gone. This shift from human craft to algorithmic output threatens to make the artist invisible and eventually completely obsolete. I've always embraced new technology, but this current trajectory favors efficiency and consumerism over the soulful, arduous process of creation. I want to break down what we're losing and why this is happening, and where we might be heading. Now, the primordial residence, music as a physical existence, right? To understand it's right, we have to look at what is meant to be a musician, right? For most of history, music was inseparable from our bodies. The instruments dating back 165,000 years, they were extension of the human form. They were stones, sticks, logs, shaped to alter pitch. Musicianship was actual physical labor, where the craft involved building the means of expressions, right? By 43,000 years ago, early cultures were crafting flutes out of bird bones and ivory, right? These had 3 precisely drilled finger holes to evoke melodies, showing a really deep understanding of acoustics and physics. The musician was a craftsman who understood the tactile resistance of bone and the pressure required to breathe life into a melody. Music was a lived experience, a performance that demanded presence and mastery. The history of music is defined by grit. Now, in the 19th century, American Deep South, we've seen enslaved communities, they built banjos and fiddles from whatever they had. A banjo could have been made from, calf skin and iron, some strings on a hand-carved box or something. The soul of the blues, which went on to define rock and roll and global pop music, was born from that struggle. You had to bend notes on guitars and harmonicas to mimic the human's voice, creating an emotional language that no machine can replicate because it is rooted in specific physical struggle. Now, the industrial capture, from live performances to different forms of media, the move towards the invisible artist began with mechanical reproduction. Now, before the late 19th century, music was an ephemeral live experience. You had to go see it. You had to be there to hear it. Edison's 1877 phonograph changed everything by letting us capture sound in our own living rooms. This was the start of the soft progression towards removing the artist. Now, by the 1940s, magnetic tape allowed for editing. Before tape, a recording was a captured performance. If you messed up, you had to start all over again. But tape gave us the power and the luxury to erase an overdub, which shifted art from the performance itself to the post-production process in the studio. The 50s and 60s were the golden age of analog, where the studio was an instrument. Producers like George Martin, they became godlike creative forces because they mastered that environment. While this introduced layers of electronic intervention, it still required immense talent and musicianship. The producer was a master of gear, and the musician was a master of their instruments. It was a hand-in-hand harmony. 1980s, MIDI and sampling completely entered the market and sound went totally digital. Performance was triggered by buttons. By 91, Pro Tools professional quality moved to the bedroom. By 2023, generative AI, the descaling process, hit the end of the line. The algorithmic saturation, the rise of the button presser came to life, and the digital revolution of the 80s and 90s turned computers into studios. It democratized music, which was great for a lot of different forms, but it also started a flood of content. Now, by the 2020s, the market was completely cluttered with people who had zero traditional musicianship, but had mastered pressing buttons. Sample libraries meant you could drag and drop anything anywhere, just loops. Composing turned into complete curating. Now, we're in an industry where 120,000 songs are uploaded to streaming platforms every day. Most of them are constructed from templates that require zero human effort. This leads to background noise. Music that's polished but fucking hollow. Now, the algorithms reward this sloth, right? Favoring consistency over creativity. The artist is now often just a name that's attached to an algorithmic output designed to satisfy a niche without ever challenging the listener. The mechanics of synthetic creation is the most dangerous evolution is the text-to-music generative AI for music, like Suno or Udio. These systems take the skill out of it completely, letting anyone who can type a sentence become a creator. It's the final stage of descaling, where years of practice are replaced by a 20-second wait. The procedure's simple. You enter a theme, like relaxing beach melody. The software generates the lyrics, the melodies, and the arrangements, everything. You can use custom mode to input genre tags or, your pepperonis, mushrooms, whatever you want on it. The art is the act of just automation, generating a few drafts and change a word and just keep going until the machine gives you something that works. It bypasses intellectual labor. There's no music theory whatsoever. There's no rhythm mastery, and there's no emotional investment. It's marketed as frictionless, but it feels like the death of art a little bit. If music is an expression of the human consciousness, then the machine-produced soundscape falls short. AI lacks the lived experience. A machine can identify patterns that evoke sadness, but it doesn't understand why those notes make us feel that way. Furthermore, the invisible artist is often a product of stolen labor, right? Generative models are trained on millions of different recordings without consent or compensation. It's a smash and grab model where the work of real artists is used to build the very products that aim to fucking replace them. It creates a world of artificial background noise where the potential for protest and revolution is replaced by a sanitized product. Cultural friction, right? Now, the entitlement of the invisible creator. We're seeing a group of people using AI. They insist on calling themselves artists, right? They feel entitled to the accolades of creativity despite doing absolutely none of the work. And if you call them out, well, you get called a fucking elitist or a gatekeeper, but traditional musicians know that gatekeeping is often just quality control, right? It's a defense of the standards that define the craft. The tension's bad because these users are effectively cloning the identity of real musicians. It feels like a loser's attitude, really. Now, it's like a desire for fame without the willingness to put in the actual work and take all the notoriety. It erodes the moral framework that keeps the community together. Now, economic ruins is huge. It's a cannibalization of human royalties. Like real artists, this is an existential fucking crisis. They're already struggling with low stream payouts, right? Now, they're competing with the dilution of AI noise that dilutes the royalty pool. Every time a user listens to an AI track, it is money pulled away from a human creator. Now, a study from CISAC estimates that creators could lose 24% of the revenue by 2028, which is a loss of 10 billion euros. Mid-2025, 18% of tracks on Deezer were fully AI generated. Now, this is a huge transfer of value, especially for the creative community to, tech companies. The future scenarios we're faced with, we're looking at a few ways this could go. First, a fast disruption, right? Where AI takes over the entire mainstream completely within 10 years. The public becomes unable to tell the fucking difference, and music becomes personalized, biometric background noise. The second could be a two-tier level. The market splits. The lower tier is cheap, disposable AI background music. The upper tier is human organic made music, treated as a luxury or artisanal product, right? Authenticity will then become a premium, or the third, a return to organic truth. A massive cultural backlash would have to happen against synthetic content, possibly from a new generation that rejects perfection in favor of grit and real artistry and the physical struggle of an actual instrument. Certification programs like Humanable gain traction, and we force platforms to clearly label synthetic tracks. The band is facing the greatest challenge. The shift from a 165,000-year-old fucking drum to a 20-second text prompt is a change in the human spirit. If we allow the musician to be taken out of the picture, we're left with expression reduced to probabilities managed by a data center and algorithms. The invisible artist is not an artist at all, but a technician operating a plagiarism machine. To save music, we have to re-engage with the craft and the musicians and the artists and the instruments and value it over technical perfection, right? Credibility must be earned through mastery and honest lyrics. Only a return to the organic, soulful truth of human performance can ensure that the band truly does play on. But that's just my opinion. But what I like to see, being a lover of, like I said, all different formats and stuff like that, I embrace new technology. I encourage it. I went through every single music genre possible as a fan. You just have to look into my record collection all the way up to techno, and I also have a love for when techno first arose, I said the same thing, but this is a different animal. You see, it's kind of like the creators that are encouraging these machines that want to take all of the notoriety and the fame because they're creating music, but they're not. The tool that they're using is actually eliminating and wiping out real artists. But the skill that's required from these new content makers is in the comparison and has the same skill level as ordering a pizza. You see, when you want to order a pizza, you pick up your device, you type in your data of, what kind of pizza you want and what you want on it, what does it taste like. And you wait, and then it delivers the pizza. And you eat it with your company, and everybody enjoys that pizza. It's beautiful. It's great, right? The same rules apply with these sound-making software systems. You pick up your mobile device, you press in what you want in the pizza song, right? You want a house music, your pepperonis. You want a slower beat with your onions, yada yadas. And arrives your musical pizza. But in no way, shape, or form did you have anything to do with making that pizza that everybody in the room's enjoying. This is the awkward conversation that no one wants to have. And for anyone in the camp that would feel personally attacked or uncomfortable with that, good. You should, because it's an awkward conversation. And we need to have them. We need to when it comes to, an awful lot of things are getting off the hook to just, self-righteousness and this, that, and the next thing. But when we're talking about music and its integrity and what it is and the possibility of it becoming extinct as an art form and handing it over to artificial intelligence because nobody gives a rat's ass and it's being encouraged by ego-driven, non-talentless people that want to actually claim the art form, well, we have to have these awkward conversations and we need to call this for what it is. Music's our life foundation. It's one of the first existing things in the human experience for communication, the drum, the tribal, all the way here to today, to the magical pizza machine. Whatever shape and form that it comes in, whatever genre it is, whatever style we're into, whatever genre, whatever culture, it doesn't matter. There's, any good music's good music, right? Any shit music's shit music. But music as an art form has to remain what it is. And if it's to become something else, we need to change the name and we need to recognize the creators for what they are. And it's not musicians. This is the Awkward Conversations. Thanks for checking out Jive Talkin. Do me a favor, if you like the show in any way, shape, or form, click the like button. Please subscribe on blackdonleymedia.com. It means the world to me. Thanks for your ears, and remember, tomorrow belongs to those that can hear it coming. I'm out. Thanks for your time. I value it.
Thanks for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed the feature. Please, if you enjoyed the production, like or share if you care. But most importantly, we ask in return to join the community by subscribing on blackdonnellymedia.com. It's a small ask, but a huge impact for the show's reach. Until next time, this has been Jive Talking, a blackdonnellymedia.com production.